Gay Out the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond, and today I am here with Instagram model and Twitter model from the UK, Mr. Pops. How you doing today, sexy?
Oh, lovely. Even better now that I've just been called a model. A lot better.
Well, what would you classify yourself as?
I don't know, because there's never been like a goal with doing the social media side. It's just been like, take some selfies, chuck it up. I mean, I'd love to be a model. That would be bleeding amazing.
Well, it's not like you can't pull it off. It's not like you're not a good-looking guy. Come on.
There's probably about 50 photos before I decide on the actual one that's going to go up, though. So there's a lot of preparation for it.
There's nothing wrong with editing. Like,
Yeah.
I do it. I saw one of the people that were mutual followers is like, who edits your photos? I'm thinking, who the fuck doesn't? Like,
Yeah, that's very true. It's got at least, well, quite a few filters on each one just to make myself feel a little bit better before it goes up.
like literally, not this one. I didn't have to Photoshop this picture because, luckily, you'll see after I post it,
Yeah.
and I'll advertise. I'm actually wearing knee-high boots today. I'm wearing knee-high stilettos, and this is the first time I've been in stilettos in a while because I've had foot problems and I have bone spurs in the heels of both of my feet.
Jeez.
So there was a point where, especially towards the end at my last job, I could barely walk. So I wasn't doing drag at all because I was literally going to work, coming home, icing my feet.
Yeah.
And then just repeating the same thing the next day.
No, that would just be debilitating almost. I couldn't. So was you doing shows as well then?
No, I couldn't do anything.
So everything just had to stop.
Yeah, this is another thing. So I lived in Orlando for 4 years, and then I had to move back to my hometown where there's not really there is a drag scene, but there's no gay bars, so it's done in straight, very hetero bars, and if you don't know the right people and they don't believe in you to do something that's, I would say, different than most people doing, because I know it isn't this way in the UK, but I know in America it's pretty much every drag queen lip syncs almost.
Yeah.
And I sing live, so
right.
I've been
heard of it nearly.
Yeah. And I was actually told at one point when I was doing a show in a bigger city that's an hour away from me, I did their show once at the place, and then I tried to go back and ask if I could come back again, and the owner basically said, they're we're looking for more drag queens that don't sing live.
But it's all about showing a talent though, and if that's one of the talents,
right,
I understand that's really weird.
I know.
We'd love to have that here. Here, the more or less just the kind of beautiful DJs here, so I mean, because I came from the city as well. I've moved over to a place called Yorkshire for a bit, and it's really, really secluded. And again, there's only a select few gay bars, and that's if you're going into you're getting a train to go to them. And then over there, the queens that are in the bar there are just basically, they are just DJs on the stage. They'll interact during putting each song on. But it's I don't know how to explain it. Over the past few years, I hardly see any actual performances in bars and anything anymore. Unless I just don't get out a lot. But still, yeah, there's no proper shows on in bars and stuff.
Wow, that seems crazy because
weird
to have a gay bar and not have drag queens do drag shows. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, even in Manchester, because that's the city that I've come over. So over there, they've got a whole strip of bars, and I'd say possibly, I don't know, one or two of the bars over there only have actual drag queens in. And again, it'll be like a DJ thing. It's on a dedicated night that they'll actually have a show on, like a proper performance. But other than that, it's just here's this song, okay, here's the next song, and that's it, really. It's very weird.
Yeah, because I think about like I watch Drag Race UK, and they have all these like drag queens that talk about performing. That must be, at least from what you're saying, that must be more like a London thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about that then as well when I was saying that it's quite derelict over in Manchester, because obviously Manchester's up north, and they used to have a lot of shows on, because I used to work in like all in that scene as well, and they used to have loads of shows every night dedicated. But it's only recently when I've been going round, next to nothing. But I can imagine London will be way more performing and actual booking gigs.
So is that more like a thing that happened after the pandemic, or was that?
Yeah, well, even on the run up to it, I started to see less and less, and it was just I don't understand why it went in that direction. Because honestly, in the UK as well, I mean, as you would have seen on Drag Race, they're like a different caliber of queens as well. They can be quite cutthroat. That they go down the comedy side a little bit more a lot.
Right.
So, and it's brilliant. It really is. Once you go to like some of the shows and they're literally just torturing the crowd, I absolutely love it. But yeah, I hardly see any of that anymore. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Not sure what it is, but yeah, I'd like to see more of it though, because it really does make you night as well, especially if you start off with a good drag show at the start of the night. That's it then. I'm
right.
6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm there.
Totally. So
we've got a holiday soon though, like in 2 weeks, going over to Gran Canaria in Spain, and a lot of the drag queens that are from the UK go over that way. So it's amazing. There's a certain bar that we're going to go to called Bricky's, which I absolutely love. It's where it's basically where what's that drag queen's name who won season 1? Season
Vivian.
1. Yeah, that's basically where she was before she started out. Well, before she went over to Drag Race, she was in a bar called Sparkle. So, and it's all the same like queens over there. They all know each other, but that is it's very like cutthroat drag, very performy, like it's in a theatre, and it's just amazing. So 2 weeks time and there'll be loads of videos put up on my Instagram for you to see.
Nice. That's gotta be wow. So do they have like drag shows in theaters in the UK a lot? Because that's not a common thing in America.
Oh, so like I mean, like more like they like a kind of theatre performance, not necessarily in a theatre, but like they will act out musicals for you and stuff, and it's really cool. You've got the lip sync side of things, you've got the comedy side of things, but on stage they will do a lot of like theatre performances as well, especially where we're going in 2 weeks. They bring up Wicked, everything really, and it's really, really fun to watch. You can see the amount of effort and dedication that's gone into it.
Because like I had that experience once. I wasn't like performing, but I saw somebody who's like, so there's this famous celebrity impersonator in America called Frank Marino, and he has like this traveling show where he has like different divas go and perform in like theaters.
Yeah.
And that actually came to my hometown, and I went to it because I literally thought there's going to be nothing like this again ever.
Yeah.
So I might as well go.
Yeah.
And that was a very, very different experience because, well, I will say this. I don't know this about the UK. Do they tip people who are like performing in the UK, or is that more a US thing? Not at all?
US. I've thought about it quite a few times, and the only conclusion that I can come to with that is like the US have $1 bills, don't they? But over here we have we call them £1 coins. So it would be yeah. That's the only thing I can think of, really. I mean, I know that you also tip like 20 bills and stuff, but I mean, also the British will not we're not going to part with our cash unless it's for ourselves anyway. So the likelihood of someone putting a £20 note in someone's pocket for performing,
Right.
but they will. I'm guessing they'll get paid considerably more for a gig. I might
Right.
be wrong with that, but yeah, they could get paid a little bit more of it. Tipping's not a thing though. Even when it comes to like food and stuff, when you're out for a meal,
Right.
the tipping is it's not
Well,
really.
that's also because in the UK you're taken a lot better care of than we are here in America.
Right.
Like we got people who are like, I don't even want to get into that. People who are like, I will say this about the U.S. government: the fact that I can't get fucking healthcare from the government is insane to me.
Yeah, it is crazy. I've never understood that one. I know about the tipping side. I had a friend that was from Toronto, and
Yeah.
come over at once. She was working in bars and restaurants, and she was like, I literally just depend on tips. If I don't get tips that night, then that's it. I was like, that sounds bizarre. That sounds really. I mean, the wages there aren't great. In fact, they're getting worse. But still, I was like, that sounds crazy that you just rely on the tips when you're working in like the hospitality industry.
Well, that's because like if you're working at like a regular restaurant, like I've been a server, but I was a server in a senior living home, so like I wasn't able to accept tips, so as a result they would pay me like $15-16 an hour, so that way I could like
that makes
make enough money and like get compensated for it. But like I think, and the craziest part is the federal minimum wage is so low that like every state has their own different like minimum wage.
Yeah. So, to get my head wrapped around that is, but here it's the wages here at the minute. We're going through a really, really rough time because it's like at the minute the wages aren't budging, so we've still got the same wages from like, I don't know, like 5 years ago. Nothing's changed with it, but the price of everything, the VAT and everything, is just quickly rising. So I like working a government side of things, and I don't say this to be like, oh, your job's worse than mine to anyone in the UK and stuff, but like with being in like this government type of environment where you're at risk every day from getting like seriously attacked and so on and so forth, like you are in a lot of danger in what you're doing. But then we're getting like, it's like £12 an hour, no less than that, sorry, I'm at like £11 an hour. And then you've got people who are like, even like the NHS, our healthcare service, that they're on nothing, and to put themselves at that high risk. And then it's shocking over here at the minute. I wouldn't suggest any moves or anything over at anytime soon.
No, definitely. I will say, like, I am thinking about moving because I've lived in Florida my whole life. I'm fucking tired of it. Like, because it's literally, when people say why, it's like there are no seasons here. Like, it's literally hot almost all year round.
I love the sound of that. I really do. I know, but I mean, what you're saying though. You have been there forever.
Yeah, it's time to like change the scenery, and like I want to move into more like a conservative state, but I want to move into like the liberal, literally probably like the biggest city in the South, which is Atlanta.
Right.
Yeah.
So my geography with America though is shockingly poor. Like, I only know what I've seen on TV.
Well, believe me, don't ask me about UK geography. I won't do well either. Geography was not my thing.
Honestly, that's baffling for myself, and I live here. It's crazy. It's so weird over here that you can literally be. I'm in Yorkshire now, and it's about a 40-minute car ride to Manchester. Completely different accents, completely different way of speaking, and that is just continuous the whole way through the UK. It is madness. You got to speak like 17 different tongues just to try and understand what people are saying. It's baffling.
It's kind of like that in Florida. It's like once you try and like drive probably like not that close a distance, but like 3 or 5 hours north.
Mm.
All of a sudden, everybody starts having like southern accents. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm still in Florida.
That
Like,
is
I'm
exactly
very
it.
much. I would say I'm in the area I'm in is like very elderly,
Right.
very much retiree.
Same here. Same where I am.
Yeah, rich people,
Oh.
which I am not. But
Love to be. Oh god, yeah, it's very retirement where I am as well, and it's really mind numbing considering I've come from a big city, and then I'm here, and like literally, I could show you outside. Well, I can't now; it's pitch black, but I could show you outside the window, and it's just farm as far as the eye can see. And so to go from police sirens, people screaming outside the window, all that kind of stuff, to just dead silence, it is. I still can't wrap my head around it, and I've been here for 4 years, 5 years now. It's weird.
well, why did you move out of the city and move like
The exact same reason as what you was just saying. Then I'd spent so much time there, and
um
there was job opportunities over there. I'd met someone over here. Sorry, I'd met someone, and everything was going great. And it was just I thought, yeah, move over. But the problem is that I don't know anyone from around here. So literally, when I'm not in work, I'm just making content for Instagram, and that's it. Don't get out
yeah
or anything like that. It's crazy, and you can't really because it's like I said, it's just farms. So there's
yeah
nothing to do.
wow.
Yeah.
So okay, let's go to my questions.
Oh.
So you said you came from Manchester. Where are you originally from?
Manchester.
Oh,
That's
you are
well,
originally from Manchester.
yeah. It's such an amazing place. Like it's so full of life over there. But yeah, from Manchester, come over here to Yorkshire, and then hopefully soon going back to Manchester. I need to get back there.
Right. So, what was it like for you growing up in Manchester?
It was weird. It was, especially being gay, like growing up around there. Because I know, from like TV and stuff. Obviously, sometimes Americans will have that view of it's really quite peaceful in the UK. Everyone's quite nice. It's all olden day and blah blah, cups of tea, all that.
Yeah.
It can be really harsh over here, like quite dangerous, and especially where I grew up in Manchester it was voted the worst place in the UK 3 years running. It was an absolute dive. It was awful. But then, well, it's still like that now around where I grew up. No one had any knowledge of people being gay and stuff like that. It was very open to be homophobic around there. It was crazy. So growing up like that in that area, it was so challenging. It was so daunting, especially with my family as well, because they're all absolute crazy people. So I didn't even want to come out to them either. It was like, if I come out to these lot, I'm dead, basically.
So, I mean, that kind of gets to my next question, which was, what was it like for you coming out? I'm assuming it wasn't easy.
Shockingly, I was the one who made it a hard experience. Like, so, because I grew up with two older brothers who were and still are absolute nutters, and then grew up with my mum who was a strong Catholic at that time. So, and I knew very early on. I knew at like the age of 7 that I
Right.
am the way that I am. So, and I didn't come out until I was 16. So it was a long period of time knowing, but not wanting to say. So I was like, they will kick me out. Probably my eldest brother would absolutely beat the hell out of me. It was like not going to happen. And then basically what happened was I went on a night out in Manchester and just got drunk and got on the phone to my mum. I think I just got some like kind of surge of, I don't know, like strength or something. I got on the phone. I was like, I'm gay. Nothing you can do about it. And I was really aggressive. And I was met on the phone with my mum just replying, yeah, all right. Okay. And I was like, what the hell have I done? I've just ruined this potentially really nice moment. And my family was just completely understanding about it. So yeah, I know I'm in a very lucky situation to have that.
See, I will say that my family was like, at the time when I came out, it was just my dad and my sister because my mom had passed away 4 months before that. So like,
Oh, I'm sorry.
thank you. I thought it was. I feel like that in some ways made it easier
Right.
for me, but at the same time, craziest part, you're talking about the church. The weekend I came out, I was having this conversation with this youth minister who I was basically telling him about this like performance idea I had with like me being like the dramatic person with like a knife and like how I had practiced it and whatever. So I told him all this. Don't know why I felt to be so fucking honest, but I did. He walked out of the room, came back in the room. He said, I have two options for you. Either I'm going to call the cops or you're coming with me.
What?
So he took me. We drove to a hospital so I can get a psych evaluation. I passed the psych eval. He basically lied, got me locked in a mental institution for 64 hours.
What?
Yeah.
What the hell? That's insane. I did not expect it to go down that route at all. Then, jeez. Over your ideas of
Yeah.
that. Oh, wow.
And that was literally the like questions that the person who was like determining stuff literally asked me. They're like, are you in drama? And I said, yeah, because at the time I was. It's like,
Wow.
this is the thing. It's like, at that time, I wasn't suicidal. I was suicidal a little bit after that, like a year, like not a year. Like 6 months later, I was, but not at that point.
Jeez. I couldn't imagine what that was like for you. That sounds absolutely horrendous.
What, being suicidal? Yeah, it's not fun.
Well, yeah, no, yeah. Oh,
Oh,
definitely.
but being locked up, yeah.
Well,
It actually, it's very sort of like what it does make you like appreciate is it like makes you appreciate the freedoms that you do have.
Yeah.
Because obviously, when you're in one of those places, they take everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been. Well, when I say I've been there, I mean I've worked in a place like that before. Not actually been, but yeah, you're completely right. And still, like the job that I do now is working with. Well, it's helping people who are at that. Well, God, it's loads of different types of people, if I'm honest. So I work with people that are going through trauma and have lived through trauma and stuff. And it's very like young age and stuff, and it's helping them manage that side of their lives. So I can completely understand that part of I've worked with well over 100 people now, and it's you just see them at the lowest.
Yeah.
And the strength that it has to get them onto the other side. So I really do commend you for that. My goodness.
Thank you. And a lot of it is I've never explained this to guests before. I guess I will now. So what I went through, what I say is 2 bouts of depression. One of them was me trying to figure out who I was.
Yeah.
And then it was once I found out who I was through drag, not being able to do that every day kind of fucked with my head a little bit.
When was this in like the timeline of your life? Like was this...
So the first time I was suicidal, I was 19. And that was because I will say this, like before I started doing drag, as a musician, I was very much sort of desperately seeking attention,
Right.
as they say, because like I didn't know how to I don't know how to explain it, but okay, this is the easiest way for me to explain it.
Mhm.
So obviously, I got talked down at that point,
Yeah.
and I just struggled for a few more years, and then it was the moment that I started like tiptoeing into drag because even what I'm doing now is like what I needed to get to.
Yeah.
Sort of just be like that inhibition of saying, fuck it, I'm not skinny, I'm a big bitch.
Yeah.
You can still wear bodysuits, you can still wear whatever you want, be half naked, and just be like proud of it.
Absolutely. I absolutely, yeah, 100%. I absolutely love that. It is that I don't think it's a lot of people say it's like an age thing where you get to a certain point in your life and you're like, oh, all right, I just don't care anymore. But it is that if you've been pushed so close to a certain edge and then bounce back from that,
Yeah.
I do understand that there's a lot of things that have gone in the past that you would obsess about and be like, this is major. After getting close to that edge and coming back from it, I bet all of them things just feel completely minuscule at that point.
Yeah.
And
I
it
mean,
allows you then to express yourself like that and to have that view on yourself, which is such a beautiful and healthy view. It's crazy because a few years ago I would not be showing the kind of pictures I show off online. It would just not have happened a few years ago. So
it's
I really, really do commend you for that. That is absolutely amazing, if I'm honest.
thank you. It's so much to do. Well, actually, talking to you from the UK, I don't know like what necessarily drives pop culture like over there, but I know in the United States it's so much about like Hollywood standards of you have to be this height, you have to be this weight, you have to be
Right.
this, you have to be that. And it's like no.
Yeah. I think it goes down so many levels here, but I don't know. I've never been too involved in it, but it's I'd like to say with the variety of people that I see on TV and everything now, the UK is really like catering for people being different and being authentic and just being themselves, which is a beautiful thing to see. But I'm sure there'll still be stigma in the industry in completely different direction. I'm sure there will be. But yeah, I don't know too much about that
Right.
side of things in the UK. It seems like it's progressing. However, I bet if you talk to someone, they'd probably tell you a completely different story.
Right.
But
So what made you well, this is a clumsy way of asking this question, but I'm going to ask anyway. What made you want to start showing your ass on the internet?
oh, I tell you, I think it was just like a kind of I really don't know. It literally just happened. If I'm honest, it really did just happen. Through being on like the gay scene and everything like that, I try and verge. I'm trying to think of a better way than of saying attention seeking. If that's understandable. I've
Right.
always had really good experiences being out with friends and bumping into like strangers in nights out and everything, and like the compliments and everything like that. And if I mean, I could go way, way back into the past, but basically, I've lived a lot of my years just being a massive people pleaser and like basically just looking after others before myself. Like not looking after them, but thinking of what they might think instead of doing what I wanted. I know that sounds massive cliche. I know loads of people will have said that they've had that experience, but yeah, I've always been in that situation where I've looked after others and helped them get to the level that they wanted to be. And then I think I got to about 25 and went, oh God, I've not actually done anything that actually makes me happy. And it was that kind of link to having such a good time with people out and the compliments and everything like that and wanting to do something for myself. And I was just like, oh, I've got a big butt. I'm going to show it off.
Yeah.
It was nothing inspirational, I'll tell you that. It was just literally an ego boost, if I'm honest. and I
Right.
stuck with it.
I mean, and plus, you're probably sending ass shots on Grinder anyway, so like, it doesn't matter. No, I'm kidding.
It's one of the first apps that I've actually been like barred off. Not, but I can get back on it. But it was the first one that was like, you're not coming back on it anymore, and I still don't understand why. Like, this is my 7th Instagram account so far, so I need to find a happy medium between putting acceptable content up online and knowing the limits, I suppose.
Okay, I actually have a question about that. That's not my next one, but it's like, does anyone in your family question or admit to being ashamed about what you do online, or do they know?
No, not really. They're quite. I will say they are quite in the dark about it. That's mainly been my decision, not through being ashamed or anything like that. It's been there is certain members of my family that are quite influential and stuff. They're very well known. They're in industries and stuff. And I've kind of not wanted to, even though I say I'm not, I wanted to step away from that people pleaser thing.
Right.
There's still a part of me that's like, I don't want what I do to kind of tarnish what they do. So I've kept family completely separate almost from being online and stuff, just in case it has an impact on their careers in any way, I suppose.
I mean, that's totally understandable. See, you keep people separate, like literally, especially the way that Instagram is now like hooked up with Facebook. It's like
Yeah.
my dad now sees what I wear, and
Yeah.
like because we're friends on Facebook. But I'm like, honestly, I don't care. He's not on Twitter, and that's where I post the scandalous photos anyway. Like,
Yeah. Well, I do know that if my mum was to see anything, she'd probably be cheering. I know that much. Like, she's coming on holiday with us, and basically a gay destination. She's seen it all now. She's seen like capless shorts and anything you can think of. She's seen it, and she was cheering. Like, so I know that if she did see me, I know that she wouldn't be like ashamed or anything like that. Yeah, it's just I think I see it as a little bit private as well. I do know that one day they're gonna see. The followers are going up very quickly. It's only going to be a certain time before someone else
yeah,
shares it somewhere. But
and
yeah,
it's like everything you're doing is on the internet. So like at some point,
yeah, it's there for good, basically.
yeah. So is the UK as uptight to nudity and sexuality as the US is? Because I know, like, here it is very much sort of. I would say in some ways it's gotten better, but in a lot of ways it hasn't gotten better here.
Really.
Yeah.
I think it all depends on where you are in the UK at the time. I think there's a lot of prudes. There's a lot of people that don't mess around with that kind of side. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it really all depends. It's Europe in general do not care. They really do not
Yeah.
care. It's crazy, but yeah, I could say that I would never any of my work friends or anything like that I'd never ever want them to find out kind of thing, because I bet you then there'd be that kind of that quick association to me doing something seedy or something like that, even though it's not, but they will be. There'd be that quick association to this. What you're doing is dirty, and it's like, is it? Is it? I don't understand. Yeah, I
No,
guess we're not fully there yet in the UK.
because to make the argument, you're not, well, maybe this is just me like being progressive. Showing your ass is not really anything. It's not like you're
Yeah.
showing anything like going in it, or like
Yeah.
you're, or most of the time you're wearing a thong. Like,
Yeah.
that's,
I think that way. I have had people like in my immediate circle that has been like they didn't approve of it kind of thing, and but yeah, I'm exactly the same as you. I don't see anything particularly outrageous about it or anything like that. It's is clothed. And I think the internet is also a place that I don't think my account would necessarily invade anyone else's space without them wanting to. I think my kind of account is something that you have to look for, basically, in order to see the content. So I'd hope that there isn't people on the page or I see it that absolutely hate it. I hope it's just people that have actually found me. But hey, makes me happy, so.
Yeah. But with you saying, like, it's your 7th Instagram account, the only thing that, like, I can think of is me literally thinking, if you were a woman, this would have never happened to you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, totally agree with you on that one. And it actually makes me really angry. I don't know if it's something to do with the people that run Instagram or something, but even like down to the famous people. I've seen it on articles with Kim Kardashian and stuff, literally just putting stuff up that you can see. I mean, good for them. Amazing. But surely there should be a kind of impartial side where it's like, well, if this demographic can do it, so can this. But
it's how it is. Like, I notice this even with just what I do. I will post a picture of me literally just wearing a bodysuit or wearing like just a t-shirt like I am right now, and all you see is my legs. Immediately when I post it on Twitter, it's flagged as being inappropriate.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like you're not seeing anything. Like,
the part of it that really gets me as well, I don't know if it's just because there's a lot of attention on my account, like people have reported before, so I don't know if my account gets looked at closely or something, but there has literally been times that I've received a warning and a post has been taken down or something, and then I'm on the feed and I'm literally seeing full-on nudity, and I'm like, but I was wearing underwear and I'm seeing this person windmilling, like, and their post is still up, mine's gone. I really don't understand how they figure out what's acceptable and what's not on there, and what gets flagged and what doesn't. It's bizarre.
And it's probably also because you're like, you have like a decent amount of followers, but you're not huge. You're not in the like 15K, 35K, like.
Definitely not. I could have been by now, but yeah, every single time I get really close to it, boom, account's gone. And start from fresh. I don't know how I've made it to this level so far. I should have gave up on like the 3rd attempt, but here I am, number 7.
I'm glad you didn't, otherwise you wouldn't be here talking to me.
Yeah. Oh god, no, I'm glad I'm here too. But even Twitter, I've been banned off Twitter. I didn't think that was possible.
What?
Yeah.
How do you get banned? Well, I know how you get banned off Twitter, but how do you get banned off Twitter posting photos?
Well, I had no prior reports or anything like that, and basically there was. I mean, it'll probably be understandable after I say this. There was a video on TikTok of a guy, and he was only joking, but he was basically had bottles of himself, and he was pretending to send it off to people, like in the mail, for like, and I'd literally just copied that, put it on my Twitter account, was like, oh, wouldn't this be the life? Like, sending easy money, gone. The account's gone, and my IP address was blocked. So I was like, oh, okay, that's me done then.
So, okay. That just leads me to, when you're saying bottles of himself.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this is just my perverted mind going right here. Are you talking about jizz?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
yeah. Yeah, I'm being cautious about the words that I use because I don't want to absolutely disgust you at the same time.
No, please.
But yeah, absolutely that. I mean, there wasn't even anything in the bottles. He was just pretending that that's what he was going to do. Yeah. He's still got the video up on his TikTok. I've not.
Right.
But it was gone.
I didn't tell you this. This is literally uncensored because like this is how like I like doing my podcast. It's like I have to be open because it's like I've I've had like a go-go dancer who's a porn star on here, and like, what? I'm not gonna ask him like what the freakiest thing he did on set was. Please,
Oh God,
that's like,
yeah.
yeah, it's like I'm not uptight about that. Like, I've literally interviewed OnlyFans content creators, and we just talked about like what we're into, and it's like,
Yeah. Oh,
just
see, yeah. This is the thing. I was like, because when we decided that we was gonna do this, I was like,
yeah,
basically, I spend a lot of my time on Twitch and stuff like that. I don't have an account yet. I'm just one
yeah,
of the next steps, but I watch a lot of people on Twitch, and they heavily censor themselves. So I was like, oh my goodness! In my day-to-day life, there's a swear word every sentence, and it was like
yeah,
the stuff that I
yeah.
talk about is grim. I was like, can I actually say this? I don't
And
want
it's
to.
like, this is the thing. So far, I haven't gotten in trouble because literally after this is done, I'm gonna take this and post it to YouTube. So far, I haven't
Yeah,
gotten in trouble yet. So
yeah.
like,
Got a good technique. That's fine. Yeah, I was watching what I say because sometimes and especially with the UK sense of humor as well, it's dark. So I was like, I'm gonna steer away from any of that. Just stay away from it.
I'm a little bit of a dark person. I do like jokes that. Granted, I only do them with my best friend. Like I do
Yeah.
jokes about my mom all the time. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
just like
That's what it's like. Yeah, like literally,
yeah,
if you ever visit, I see a lot of videos on like TikTok and stuff where these Americans going, the British are evil, and I'm like, we're not, but at the same time, you could literally say hello to someone in the UK, and it's understanding the sense of humor. They're so quick just to like demoralize you, but they won't actually do it from a place of hate. I could say something a little bit cutting to a friend, and the next minute it'll be jokes about what he's going to do to my mum, and I'm like, okay, fine, we're here, we landed here then. It's like, it's awful over here.
well, I feel like these are like. I feel like you would say that that's more like heterosexual people because gay people like fucking say shit about each other all the time.
Yeah,
I call people literally. I use bitch to describe people all the time. It's like
yeah. I try and explain this to straight people as well, because everyone that I work with is straight, and I mean, I don't know if you'll agree or not, but when you've got straight friends, when you reach that level of like trust with them and you like form a good bond, as long as we're in our own setting, we're not out in public doing it in front of other people. I'm like, you say whatever you want to me. I love you enough. But they don't understand how. I've got a friend who's just moved to London. There was a night that he was in his house. We'd been out, we'd had a load of drinks. He brought two straight friends back with him. And me and him were just being ourselves. And when we looked round, these two women were just like staring at us. It was like,
what?
you okay? Yeah, it was like, use it evil to each other. I'm like, yeah. We still love each other, but they're so homophobic to each other. I wouldn't have it
Yeah,
any other way.
it's like I actually just speaking of Twitter, I actually just saw somebody like saying that like anyone who's not black saying the N word is like that. And I'm like, it's literally like that's a word that they're allowed to say, just like how we're allowed to call each other fag and faggot. And like that's
Yeah.
a thing that we do. Like
Well, it's
as I
from
explained this
what I'm
to
seeing
somebody, you're not allowed to say it. I'm allowed to say it. You're not. Like
it's the reclaiming side of it, isn't it, as well? It's the I'm guessing that's why. Oh, I forgot what the most recent one that we've reclaimed. But I love that. I love that the fact that our community can use words that were previously used to like discriminate us and stuff, and we just use it and own it now. I love that side of things, especially
yeah.
turning around to a straight person going, "Don't you use that though?" That gives me the most kicks.
But I'm also the person who like so one of the people I was in like training with for work like asked me, he's like, have you ever seen like he thought someone in our class was a crackhead, and he's like have you ever seen a crackhead? I'm like, yeah, I've had sex with one. Like
Perfect.
And he's like, oh, I'm like, you asked. I'm like
I love that. I love sometimes the look on someone's face when you say something like that. You just say something that's funny to you, and they stand there for like a good few minutes, like, am I allowed to laugh at this? And what do I do with what they've just said?
Right.
Oh, that's one of the reasons why I've not delved into the whole actual talking on videos and stuff yet, online and everything. Like, obviously, I chose TikTok. I chose Instagram because it's literally pictures. I don't have to connect like that, because I'm always like, I will put one video up and I will be cancelled in that first video. I know I will, even though it's coming from a lovely place. I just know that I'm going to say something wrong somewhere down the line. This is like, this today is the first thing that I've done online where people can hear my voice. So I guess I'm going to have to carry on doing it now. But yeah, I stayed away from that.
And it's like, first of all, I will say this. You're British. Like, British people have like a sexy accent, so you could probably say anything that you want and like get away with it.
Everyone over it hates my accent though.
Really?
I could get that with America, and I've felt that a lot, because obviously there's people being, when I put messages up, when I put pictures up, they'll instantly start messaging, and sometimes the amount of people that I have to reply to, it's easier to send voice notes sometimes, and Americans will generally sometimes turn around and go, I love that accent is sexy. But if we've got another British person in the room now next to me, we're like, oh no, his accent's disgusting. It's a Mancunian accent, no one likes it.
And it's also like, I don't know, again, in the UK, this is just like my thing in the US. It's also like, there's certain like races when they say like certain accents where like, I consider like a southern accent on a white guy is just like, oh, but you give me a southern accent on a black guy, I'm like, can we go in the other room? Like,
yeah, the southern accent, I think, is the British go-to accent to do when they're talking like about Americans in any way, shape, or form. I've never, or you know, the stereotypical blonde girl from LA with a Starbucks kind of thing.
Yes, definitely.
It's one of them too, and yeah, I love it. The southern accent, just I giggle every time. I absolutely love it.
It's because, especially depending on the person, it's like even if you say an intelligent point, I'm gonna think you sound dumb anyway. So it's like,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, forbid anyone that says that anyone watches this, I will receive hate. But like, exactly me with people that are from Newcastle over it. Absolutely love them. Spend all my time there. Think it's brilliant. Their accent is just so funny. To me, it's just absolutely love it. I wish I could do the accent, but yeah, every single time they open the mouth, I just smile on my face is up here. So just like, sounds silly.
Right.
Sorry to anyone from Newcastle as well. I'll take the hate. I don't mind.
That's why, what was it? You talk about like saying stuff. I say stuff all the time on here that like,
yeah.
Somebody I had that was like a reality star like said something and then they had to like take it back. They're like, don't sue me. I'm like, listen, I say stuff on here all the time that like I regret saying. As I always say, like if my sister ever sees like a lot of these videos, I will admit the first 3 interviews I did with people, I made her look horrible. But
really,
it's honestly all I was repeating was stuff that she said, and it's like, if you want to stand by what you say, you said it to me, so I have the right to say it to the public.
No, I love it. I do. I have been a little bit worried about it all the time because of the next steps that I want to do is definitely to go into Twitch. Like that's hopefully right now going to be happening in May. And like you'll know Twitch, it's literally just talking for hours on end. And I'm like, there's going to be somewhere in there that I'm going to say something, and someone's going to be like, no, you can't say that. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how long it lasts on that. If it lasts longer than Instagram.
Well, I mean, I will say this: doing it yourself on Twitch is difficult. Like, I've done it. I'm one of those people who, like, I say if you go over like an hour by yourself, that's a mental breakdown. If you're like, sit here and you have a 4-hour video, I'm like, that's you going psychotic. That's not a video. That's like,
definitely. Well, I want to do all the gaming side as well, though, because I'm self-confessed massive nerd. So I would love to do like all of the horror genres on there and everything like that.
Yeah. Well, that's a little bit different. That's why when I reached out to somebody and they like asked me for advice about Twitch, I'm like, honestly, the way I use Twitch is very different than the way that most people use it.
Yeah.
Because I use it for interviews and like now it's been whenever. Well, I will say this. I say whenever a guest cancels on me, sometimes it's literally the guest just doesn't show up when they're supposed to for the interview.
That's I don't. Yeah, I hate that. Especially if you give them, because you're giving us quite a lot of heads up in advance.
Yeah, I try and do like 5 days out with everybody because, like,
I mean, you even gave me a choice of a few days for me to pick which one, and a few different times. So I don't understand that side of it. That's a bit weird. I mean, I was bricking myself the whole way. I was petrified the whole way coming up to it. I was like, I've got to talk to someone online. It's like, how is this going to go? Now I'm absolutely bloody loving it.
Yeah. As I told you, I'm easy. Like, literally my, like, quote, business models for this is to, like, take people that this is how it's been so far. It's like, take people that, like, I find attractive and, like, make them talk. Like, that's...
Well, how's this one going for you? Because I don't know how I'm talking.
Yeah.
I did see in one of your last ones, because obviously, as soon as we started talking, I was like, I'm watching everything.
Yeah.
And I saw in one of your last ones, she was saying you did train for something completely different than this, didn't you? And you was like, this was actually the role this is the avenue that I wanted to go down truly.
Well, a lot of this was, so as I say, like, I'm one of those people who, like, in my life, I got a degree in something that I never used. So, like, I've been very much just taking whatever jobs I could. And, like, honestly, with this podcast, how I started it, you were talking about me doing shows. Since I've done this podcast, I've done maybe 2.
Yeah.
I don't go out and perform that much. Like, because I'd rather do this.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. Because when you said that, I was like, oh my god, that is the exact thing that I'm. Because the amount of qualifications that I have now in things that I'm not using. Like, but I want to come down all of this social media route. This is what I should have been doing a long time ago, and I could have used that COVID time to actually get into that. However, the industry that I'm in, the jobs were still running through COVID. So I've literally...
Same here.
Yeah, I've not had that time to actually proper assert myself, if that's the word, into this. And yeah, it's a bit... I'd love to see that you're doing it. I want to be able to do it, but
yeah,
not yet.
I know, it takes a little bit. So anyway, going back to the people when they're talking about the pandemic, they're like, I was in quarantine. I'm like, bitch, I didn't get to go in quarantine until I got COVID. And even with me getting COVID, I was supposed to be at home for 7 days. They're like, no, our company policy is that you only have 5 days. After those 5 days, you're coming back to work. We need you.
That's crazy. Our one was if I got COVID during that period, I'd have to live at work for 2 weeks. I was like,
what?
No. Yeah, I had to stay over at work for 2 weeks. And there was a scare at one point as well. There was a night that one of the people that I look after and everything did get COVID while I was there. And I was like, this is it. I'm here for 2 weeks now. I mean, thankfully I didn't, but God, yeah, that would have been absolutely horrendous. Working for 2 weeks non-stop.
Because, see, I will say this. Like, I know the UK was very responsible. when it came to like shutting down and everything like that.
Yeah, everything just happened. It was
Yeah, the US
crazy.
was not, especially like in Florida.
Right.
I performed till like the very last moment I could.
Yeah.
And then there was literally like they had a plane come into the airport at where the area I was performing in. I did
Yeah.
one more show and then they said, that's it. We're shutting everything down.
Here it just turned into a like no man's land. It was just silent, especially like because we obviously had to still go to work and everything throughout the time.
Yeah.
I would just be going to work, and it was like the apocalypse happened. I was like, it was possibly one of the weirdest times of my life. That it was so strange
And
not
it
to be
was
able to
also
do anything.
and it was also, well, I will say it was very different the way I was working because like I was used to like serving people at the table and it's like, no, you're literally gonna we have carts for you, you're gonna bring food to people's rooms, you're gonna leave it
Yeah,
outside, you're gonna come back.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah, because we also reopened all of our like hospitality side quite quickly, but we did it in a way that it was you couldn't actually connect with anyone. You had to book in advance, and you'd be at a table, and you'd be like cling filmed into the table. We had all these glass doors up everywhere, so using your own little pod, and it was nothing like actually. I think I didn't actually go on a night out for a proper one for about 4 years. It was draining. It was awful.
yeah.
Absolutely. And then now we have this idiot on TV who's like worked at the top of our government, who was the main head of all the healthcare service side of things, and he's like, yeah, no, it wasn't that bad. We didn't have to do whatever we did. We just did it. I'm like, oh, okay. It's all over the news at the minute. It's crazy.
But
So
that's but I mean, I will say this. I always like to think, I don't know why. I like to think that there are smarter people in England than in America, but that's just proof that there are stupid people everywhere. Like,
oh god, yeah, yeah, definitely. Oh, you should come over to the UK. I just think everyone we're all absolute nutters over here. I don't think anyone knows what we're doing.
yeah.
Bloody beautiful place though.
I will say it's actually I will say if I had like ultimate money and like a lot of money to move,
Mm.
I'm one of those Americans that would probably think about moving to the UK. I always say
Yeah.
like my two places would be like either London or New York if I had like lots of money.
Yeah. There is a massive culture shock, though, I think, for a lot of Americans that come over because they've maybe I don't know. I can't actually speak to you for you. I'm not there, but I think maybe because you've grown up with this vision of what the UK is,
Right.
and then come here, and honestly, it's completely different. We've had American friends coming over and friends from Canada that were just like, no, this is nothing like what we've been told. I'm like, yeah, no. You're walking down the street, you see people with needles and like absolute wrong uns from as far as the eye, because I love it. It's home. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of Americans that come over and go, oh, right, is this how it is?
No, well, you saying that, it's like people who think that's not going to happen anywhere, it's like you're naive
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
to think
definitely.
that that's not going to happen anywhere.
Yeah.
Like that's going to happen.
It's brilliant. Like, you'll be this people from Britain, I really do think are really welcoming, and like you could literally walk up to someone that you've not seen before in like a bar or something, and you can be chatting all night. And we are lovely, but we're just yeah. You have to understand the British to actually be comfortable here because we're also a crazy lot.
That would be probably a little bit of an adjustment for me because I'm very much an introverted person in general.
Yeah,
I'm less in drag because like for me, like I tell people the one benefit of drag is like you don't have to talk to anybody. People are gonna come up and talk to you. So it's like I don't have to start conversations.
yeah. See, when I've had a drink, I just can't stop. And I've noticing now that I'm coming out more of my shell, I'm like this on my everyday life now, and I just got to a point where I'm like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I really don't.
Right.
It's nice. It's a nice feeling. But yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. I spent
Yeah.
so much time like, I mean, I even was one of them that walked around on a daily basis, just constantly staring at the floor. Didn't want to make eye contact with anyone. Constantly saying sorry for things that I didn't even believe and do wrong and stuff like that. It was very like stay away from me type thing. But yeah,
Totally.
now I'm a loudmouth and I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you like briefly went into this, but I'll just ask you again. So, what made you refresh? Well, actually, you already answered this question. Never mind. I was gonna say what made you refresh your Instagram in September 2022, but if you said you got multiple accounts deleted, that's what did it.
I didn't even know that. How do you know the dates? I didn't even know the dates.
Because I do my research. That's what I'm.
Wow. I didn't even know.
Well, I
Oh,
love how I call it. I love how I call it research. I literally stared at pictures of your ass to figure out when the last one was.
that's good enough research for me. I don't mind. Yeah, it would have been deleted. It definitely would have been deleted.
Yeah. Like that's why when I tell people I do research, it's like sometimes I watch porn. Like that's
research. It's definitely research. If that is research, I do a lot of research.
Yeah. So I know obviously you have a job, but have you ever considered go-go dancing or stripping?
Yes. Oh, 100%. They don't have that here though.
What?
They kind of do, but it's from what I know, it's more like again, I could be completely wrong, but from what I know, it's more like you self-manage yourself. You mainly booked for gigs and stuff, but from what I've seen in America, you actually have like bars, don't you, where you have go-go dancers in there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've not seen anything like that in the UK. And I'd love to do it. Absolutely love to do it, but no. Nothing like that.
Well, maybe you need to move to America. No. I'm kidding.
No,
I would strongly encourage you if you ever thought about moving to America, don't fucking do it. Like,
really? Oh, I love the thought of it.
I mean, it depends on what area you move into.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to move to America, I would say save up your money and move to New York City because, like, that's
right.
Because you don't want to be like in the South. I know it's cheaper, but it's like you got to deal with some people who still believe that gay people are bad, believe that black people are bad. Like that's
it is, and I'm sure there'll be places like that in the UK as well. I mean, it's more people's mindsets here. There's a lot of people in the UK that are still very in the past. It's mind numbing, but like you said before, right at the start, though, it's gonna come in all walks of life, and everywhere you go, there's gonna be that somewhere.
Yeah. Actually, just hold on 1 second.
Oh, I'm gonna get my cat. My cat's trying to get in. What? What?
Okay. I'm back. I saw my like laptop going on like energy saver mode, and I didn't want the battery to like die in the middle of it.
Oh, it's perfect timing. My cat needed attention, so I just grabbed him for a little bit while he was off.
Yeah. So where am I? Oh. Okay. I love how I write these transitions. So what type of guys are you into?
Oh, that's a nasty one. I've never gone for everyone that I've ever been with has just been completely different from the last. It's never actually been. But in an easy way of answering it, I just don't like a dickhead. If isn't, I don't like arseholes in the slightest. Anyone else is fair game.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's never ever. I've gone through the complete scale of types of guys that there is so far. But yeah, I just stay clear of the dicks.
Right. Well, I will say, I have based on my dating history. So, as I said before, I'm a thick bitch. Got a fat ass, so black guys are very much into me, and that's pretty much been my dating history. And
Yeah.
like,
oh yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think if I have actually got a type in any way, shape, or form, but I mean, I've been engaged twice.
wow.
They were completely different. One guy was quite he was just an arsehole. I still don't know why I got engaged to this one. I was with him I was engaged for 3 years. Way back when I was 18, I got engaged. And
Wow.
yeah, he was just horrible personality. It started off really good, and then he just become very not controlling, but he just knew everything, I knew nothing kind of thing. And but yeah, he was quite a big guy and everything, and then got engaged. So the second time got engaged, yeah, black guy. It's completely different. No, that sounds bad. See, this is why I'm going to get cancelled. That sounds bad.
What?
There's no types. No type really. Just keep the assholes away from it. Not literally. I mean, like the awful people.
Yeah. Fine. I'll say something. Like, reason I've been with black guys a lot is because big dick for a big ass. Like, here we go. There you go. There's me also getting canceled. Like,
it's just because he's actually a lovely person and doesn't make me feel like I'm dumb in any way. Sometimes he will. Sometimes it'll be like, oh wow, that's a big word you've used. I'm like, oh, fuck off. But yeah,
right.
Other than that, and then like my dating choice and everything has literally just been the same. It's completely different people every time. It's
Well, I will say this, like, not dated, I've dated.
Yeah.
Meaning fucked. Like,
yeah. That is gay for dating.
Different types of guys, and everyone says it. My joke is always, I'm like, it's not true. I give white guys a chance twice a year. I call it community service. Like,
understood.
Yeah.
Ew, no.
I mean, that's honestly why I haven't dated much around here, because I'm in a very white area.
Yeah.
And coming from someone who, like, lived in the hood for 4 years, it's like, and lived, well, okay. I guess I have to explain this. So, do you know what I mean by when I say that?
About hood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I want to say, I don't want to start using, like, American slang and you being on the other end being like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like,
oh god, no, go for it. I'll be fine. Everything that I watch is purely American anyway, so I'll get the gist.
Okay. Oh, well, speaking of next question, so, is it, well, okay. You said you are currently dating somebody?
Yeah. And also, I'm trying to exercise my I want to try and get in a throuple. I really do. I'd love that, but yeah, no, it's not worked out fine.
Well, okay. My question was that is it hard for you to date guys because of the type of content you post? But like,
No, I don't think. I don't think so. I mean, still meet tons
yeah,
of different. I still don't think I'm at that level yet, though, where people actually know who I am. It's happened once or twice, and I've genuinely been unsettled by it. Like being on a night out and going, "Oh, "You're him." I'm like, "Oh no, I am." So how do you know me? Are you following that? But yeah, I still don't think. I don't think. I probably don't think I'll ever be at that level, if I'm honest. But yeah, I'm not noticed or anything like that.
well, you got to be noticed. Okay, you got to be noticed a little bit.
Well,
Like, well,
there was this thing that. So I changed my Instagram to a professional profile. I don't know if it makes any difference, but one thing that it has done is I can see the inside sometimes. And it was a novelty for like the first week. I loved it. Now I just don't
yeah.
look. But when I did go and look at it, my demographic is like purely American. It is a really small fraction of British people that actually come and look at my content. It is mainly American people and Spanish.
Well, that's because like, well, I can't speak for all Americans. I'm going to speak for me. It's like when I see like a guy showing his ass, like literally,
You tuning in?
the first thing is I don't give a shit where he is. I'm like, who this?
Yeah, definitely. You started to like really, really break up now for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Unless it's me. Oh, still there. Oh, you've gone. Mm-mm. Oh.
Okay. Oh wait.
Oh. Oh. Hello again.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
Shit.
All right.
Okay. There we go. Fuck.
Hello.
God, I hate technology sometimes.
I'm surprised it's not me ruining it for once. I don't understand what's going on.
No, I've never like had this happen.
Yeah. I wonder what the hell it is.
Okay, so shit. I don't even remember what I was saying.
I can't remember what we was on.
Well,
I
wait.
don't remember what we were talking about.
Okay, well, fucking, I'll ask you the next question. If people ask why I just randomly cut off on a question. Anyway, so do you think that most people who follow you see you as, I'm going to put this gingerly, nothing more than an ass that they use to just get themselves off to?
Oh, I definitely think there'll be an element of that. Definitely. But I don't think, one thing that I was, even from the first account, one thing that I've always been really keen on is making sure that I respond to every person that actually tries to come on and connect. I don't know why that is. I think it's just a respect thing. I want to make sure that if they've shown the kindness to actually pop up, even if it is just to say nice ass, I will reply in some way. And there is a lot of people on there that I genuinely want to get to know who I am, and it's just so lovely. So that's one of the sides that keeps me coming back each time when the account goes as well, because they always find a way back to me. And then there's such beautiful people on there, I will admit.
Yeah.
I say that I'd
That's
like
also
to try
like
and get back to the person, but doesn't always happen.
Right. And I will say, like, I feel like that's something that, like, all people who, like, post stuff online, like, post provocative photos of themselves, that's why I get hit up in my DMs, too. Like, like, I literally get the, like, your ass is so fat, ma, like, comments, like, all the time. Like, I'm used to it, and it's like, what a surprise, another black guy hitting me up.
I won't lie, like I said,
literally my life.
There's a big like delay on it again for some weird reason, but there is that I won't lie, there is that ego boost side to it. There's some of the comments and some of the messages I'm like, thank you, generally appreciating of it. But there is that also. There's like, I mean, this is prime example. There's times like this that I'm like, all right, perfect. This is the cool side of actually doing something like this as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's generally, as I've like tell people, I shoot my shot. Like, of the like people I've hit up, like, I'd say less than 20% have actually gotten back to me.
Right.
Because it's hard, like, especially, I don't know if it's like this in the UK, but in the US, people are so like followers obsessed that like, if you don't have like a certain amount of people, people are just gonna ignore you.
I've never noticed it in the UK. I'll be honest. I mean, social media isn't even a thing that I've heard people talk about, even on like nights out and stuff. Like, even with conversations with my friends and stuff, no one's ever really talking about like the social media side of things. I've never noticed that anyway.
Well, I mean, maybe that's more me, because like, I'm trying to get more like gay people, and like, but most of the gay people, like the big like people who like I follow on Instagram, they're either in one of two places. They're usually in LA or New York. So it's like I'm talking to those kinds of people, and it's like,
oh, mine's from absolutely everywhere. Like, each time someone pops up. Like, yeah, I'm from Manchester, UK. Where are you from? And then it's like different parts of the world, and I love it. But also, there's like that thing. Oh, I can't go on a night out with this person. Then we chat all the time, and we can never go for a drink because they're all away in some other part of the world. I just like chatting to people.
My thing is, yeah. My thing is like, and I was actually just talking with my best friend about this a few days ago. It was the fact of when I'm thinking about moving, I was thinking like, well, maybe I do want to move to Los Angeles. Maybe I do want to move here. And he's like, why? I'm like, it'd be easier for me to get guests.
Yeah.
And he's like, but you're not going to do it in person. I'm like, I don't have to do it in person. Like, and he thought this was a crazy idea. I'm like, look, I would literally social media stalk the person, find out where they're going, introduce myself, so that way I can get them on my podcast. Like, I'm not above doing that.
So am I right in thinking then, like, the LA side of things in America is like the gay scene, and like around them areas? Oh, you've gone again. You completely. It's gone mute.
Very much so.
Oh. Yeah, you've gone. Hello.
There's.
You've. Nothing.
I would say there are 3 gay hubs in.
Oh, nothing's coming through. I can't hear what you're saying.
I actually think this time it's on your end. Like,
damn it. Yeah, nothing's been coming through for a while.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, this time it literally nothing happened on my end. So like,
oh damn it. I'm so computer illiterate as well. I will not know what to do with this. Bugger.
Oh well, I've only got like one more question, so.
Oh, it only feels like we've been on for about 20 minutes.
No, we've been on for over an hour.
That's crazy. I feel like there's still like so much more to actually talk about as well.
Well, maybe there is, and like, as I said, I have people back well, I haven't done it recently, but I'll ask people back. Yeah. Like,
oh, I'll do it. I'll definitely do it, 100%. Because you still got to go through all the scandals at work and stuff. Oh, damn.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah. No, I'd definitely be back.
So, yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely probably like have more stuff to write about. And honestly, with me before, I just got a new job, and it's like once I get out of training, my schedule is going to be like different. So I don't know what time I'm going to have.
I'm always free.
So like after I'm going to be working mornings or nights, I'm really hoping for mornings because I am not someone who likes being out late at night. Like,
oh god, yeah, no, yeah, we'll definitely have to sort something back out again. There's tons more. Yeah. There's so much more that we need to get through.
Yeah, but you got to figure you already talked for almost an hour and a half. Like,
oh yeah, but there's still like I said, there's still like the Have you seen my story highlight on Instagram and stuff about the scandals at work and stuff like that?
I don't think I have. Like,
oh, so there you go.
Again,
once this is over, you'll have to go through and read stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
we'll tell you all about that.
My final. Yeah. And I mean, you can honestly like after like the interview's done, I'll probably like chat with you for a few minutes anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, you can hear me good. All right. So, final question. What do you think is the biggest misconception about you?
Biggest misconception? So far, I don't think that there's been. Oh, do you know what? I'm lying. Yeah, there has been one. I think it's the whole the sex drive side of things. I think because of the type of pictures I put up on either Instagram or Twitter and stuff, and obviously at one point I've had a more saucier account, a subscription one. I think people's perceptions can also be that I am heated up from the minute that I wake up to the minute that I fall asleep. The DMs will be coming in and it's like, what are you doing now? And I'm like, I'm just like eating a bowl of cereal and watching TV. Like, I think people think I'm a lot more horned up than I actually normally am. Uh-oh. Completely gone.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back. This is definitely...
Okay. That's the other reason I need to end the interview is because literally we keep breaking up.
Yeah, it's just non-stop. Damn it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I will admit, I'm now paying to stream on Twitch, and I thought like when doing this, these problems would stop, but apparently not.
No. If it's a problem from my end, though, I'll have a look, because if we do this again, I'll make sure it's all...
Yeah.
Oof. That's embarrassing.
I mean, but it's been all good, and like, well, part of the reason I also need to like end it soon is because, so I live with my dad, and like, he's probably going to be home like literally any minute, and like, I'm out in the like living room, so I have to break all this stuff down, get out of drag.
Damn it. Oh, but yeah, whenever you like. If someone cancels on you, let me know, and I'll be straight there.
Honestly, like, order.
Oh. I'm so sorry, but you've gone again.
Like,
I'm so sorry.
Because I am.
It's not working out well. Oh. Page up. Are you there?
Fuck. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. And you're
Yeah.
freezing up again.
I think if you want though, if we call it
Well,
here, and then 100%.
I guess with that being said,
Yeah.
I'm gonna end it here.
I
Keep
understand.
struggling.
Oh, trust the breakup. Trust it to happen to me. Oh.
Most